Mr. Speaker, sir. At the very outset, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members who had participated in this budget debate. So there were 32 members who participated. So I think I will be taking the time of the House if I name all of them. It will take me about 5 minutes just to read out the names. But indeed, sir, it was a great debate. And this is a very healthy sign of democracy and a very healthy sign of the entire spirit of the House when you see the elected members come in and speak here on behalf of their constituency and in general also about the state as a whole. Of course, we are all aware that elections are a year away, so the members got a chance to really bring out all their concerns. One of the cabinet ministers was whispering into my ear, "Sir, please request Chief Speaker if we as cabinet ministers can also speak."
But what about Speaker? And whom will you whisper?
Sir, if you can give both the chance, then it'll be good, sir.
I'll come and whisper to you personally, I think.
So, sir, this was a very healthy discussion, and I really would like to thank all the members for really bringing out very, very important points in the course of the debate. Sir, I'll try to cover as much as I can. It's a very vast topic, and we had to look into all aspects, so I may not be able to touch on every single concern that was raised by the honorable members, but I will try to cover as much as possible. Sir, first of all, I would like to start off by mentioning here that it is very important for any government to come out with a vision statement. And the entire working of this government in the last 4 years, and also this budget that we have presented, is based on this vision statement that we brought out. And that statement is very simple: 10 in 10, which simply means that we want to be the top 10 states in the next 10 years. Now, I would just like to elaborate on what that means. So when we say top 10, we are referring to the per capita GDP. Number 2, we are referring to the Sustainable Development Goals. In these two aspects, we would like our state to be in the top 10 in the next 10 years. Now, just to give a perspective of where we are right now. So the state is in the bottom 5 in the per capita level. Bottom 5. And we are in the bottom 10 in the Sustainable Development Goals. And I have no issue in bringing this out because we must face the reality. As all the members in the House have mentioned, that we as a government and as leaders and as a legislature must be aware of the facts, and we must accept the facts and accept the challenges that are there in front of us. Now, in order to move forward from where we are at the bottom 5 to reach to the top 10 requires strong action to be taken. It cannot be the normal, regular steps that we take that will allow us to reach that stage. Therefore, sir, we have gone with a very broad and comprehensive policy to ensure that not just centers develop, but regions must develop. Not just Shillong and Juwai and Tura and Nongstoin should develop, but even the rural areas and focus must be done in such a manner that there is overall development throughout the state. And that is why, sir, we have gone with a policy in the last 4 years and even in this year, coming financial year, we are ensuring that we look at this entire aspect of ensuring that there is an overall program to move forward to achieve these goals. Now, sir, per capita GDP is made out of two things. It is the GDP of the state, which is the numerator, and divided by the population of the state, which is the denominator. Now, when we come to the numerator, the higher the GDP of the state, the higher the per capita income. Now, so let me just give you a very basic idea. These numbers, of course, can be plus, minus, here and there. So I don't say that I'm giving exact figures, but I'm giving an estimate. So that today, so say for example, tourism. So tourism makes up about 3% of our budget. And our budget is roughly about 40,000 crores in a year. Now that means we in the GDP of the state, 1,200 crores is made out of tourism activities. Now, sir, to give you an idea, that in the last 4 years and in the coming 1 year, and in fact, years beyond that also, the government of Meghalaya has worked towards realizing that if the GDP of the state, which is to make the state in the top 10 states, the GDP has to go up, we must push the service sector, which makes up approximately about 60% plus of our GDP. And tourism has a huge potential to push this forward. And that is the reason why we decided that we should focus on tourism a lot. And hence, in the next few years, in the past and in the next few years together, roughly, sir, 3,000 crores will be invested in the tourism sector. Whether it's 700 crores through the externally aided project of JICA, whether it is the ADB project, which is for Sora area of 1,100 crores, whether it's the new development bank project of 700 crores for tourism sector, or whether it is our own small interventions in the state, roughly amounting to about 3,000 crores will be spent. And this investment that we make in the tourism sector has the potential of increasing the number of high-end rooms in our state from a mere 500 today to 2,000 rooms in the future. Now, I'll just tell you what this means, sir. This means that today from GST, from the rooms that we are giving right now, the government of Meghalaya gets approximately 5 crores of revenue from GST from the rooms at about 9%. Once these 2,000 rooms are complete, our GST collection just from the rooms from tourism will go up from 5 crores to 55 crores. So that's like more than 1,000% increase in terms of the GST collection for the state, from 5% to 55, from 5 crores to 55 crores once these 2,000 rooms are complete. You can well imagine the impact that's going to take place for the consumers, for the people who are running these hotels, running these different resorts, running these homestays, running the luxury car vehicle program that we have, having the restaurants. All these aspects will add in. And therefore, the investments that we are making in tourism sector is precisely towards the target that we just mentioned to you. So from agriculture sector, which is another very key sector, the primary sector of the GSDP, we roughly have a size of about 9,000 crores. And in the next, last few years, in the next few years, through different missions, be it the Lakadong mission, be it the Piggery mission, the Aqua mission, apart from that, the focus program that we have, apart from that, the IVCS, that is Integrated Village Cooperative Society programs that we have, and many other programs that we're doing through the agriculture and allied sector programs. We will be spending roughly about 1,200 to 1,500 crores to promote and push the agriculture sector. And this alone, this investment that we're making has the potential to increase the overall growth of the agriculture sector from 9,000 crores to over 15,000 crores in the next few years, sir. And that is the reason why we mention and we keep saying that we are working and moving ahead with a plan in mind, sir. And the plan is to increase our overall rankings to become the top 10 states. To give you a small example, sir, the Lakadong mission when we started. So Lakadong mission was a program that was, in fact, when the Lakadong program or Lakadong farmers used to do things on their own. There was no structure to the entire process of really pushing the Lakadong process forward. What we need to realize, sir, that agriculture requires you to invest in the value chain that is there. It's not about just distributing seeds today and expecting that the seeds will grow and become plants and then you'll get the fruit. You have to realize that you have to give the seeds, you have to give the training to the farmers on how to maintain it, how to process it, how to package it, and how to get the marketing link. It's a value chain that needs to be put in. So Lakadong mission was a mission that started off with realizing that we need to create value chain for the farmers. Now, when we started off, sir, there were 1,000 farmers in the Lakadong mission. Today, there are 13,000 farmers who are in Lakadong farming. We used to produce 6,500 metric tons. Today, already we have doubled it, and we are at 12,800 metric tons. Now, so this is a very small example, but an example of how a mission mode is going in a focused way, and we'll be actually moving forward. So in a very short time from now, on the 30th or towards the end of this month, or maybe next month early, we will be having what we're calling the Lakadong Festival. And so in that Lakadong Festival, we have already initiated the process of putting up processing plants for Lakadong. And I don't have the exact number here with me, but we'll be putting up a large number of processing plants in Lakadong, in the area out there where the growth and the farmers are there. And this, through different cooperative societies, we will be now processing the Lakadong in our state itself. And in a very short time from now, we will be investing in a curcumin extraction plant, which will then have the potential of bringing out the value of the product to almost 6,000 rupees per liter is the value of the curcumin that is extracted from the Lakadong. And that's really how we need to move forward in this entire process. So the value chain approach that we're having for Lakadong, we are doing the same in almost everything. The ginger program will have the same process, and all the other programs that we're having will be moving in that direction. So agriculture also is the same line. So therefore, government spending is a huge part of overall GSDP. And here also, because of the spending that's gone up by the government, it will have a direct impact on the GSDP that we have. The overall service sector, the tertiary sector, which adds almost 60% to the entire, close to 60% to the GSDP, will also be impacted because of the work that we're doing right now. So therefore, sir, one has to realize that in the last many years, because of COVID, the government of India has also taken a very, clear decision that governments must increase their spendings. Investments must be made in infrastructure. Help and support must be given to socio-economic sectors like tourism and agriculture. And Government of India's approach has been similar and at their level, and they expect that the states also move in. And that is the reason why, sir, the spending of the government has gone up. And I know that a lot of the members have raised concerns about this issue. I would just like to get into that aspect also a bit, just so that I can clarify to the honorable members where we are going and how we're doing things. Now, sir, the overall spending of the government, which I had mentioned last time, has gone up in the last 5 years, where we used to spend 9,600 crores in the year 2017. Today, in 2021, we will be touching an expenditure of 15,600 or 500 crores plus. Now, sir, these are expenditures that have happened because of many sources. Now, so one has to realize that overall, when you look at the overall spending of the government, there are many aspects of revenue that come in. Now, share of central taxes. Now, share of central taxes makes up almost 33% of our overall revenue collection that we have. And in the last few years, because of the intervention of the Finance Commission, which was made to be convinced, and the arguments were made in the favor of the state government, the proposals were put in by the state government, we were able to increase our share of central taxes, which was at a mere 4,000 crores in the last Finance Commission, to this year, or this Finance Commission, going up to 6,200 crores per year, which means that there's been an increase of almost 30% in terms of the share of central taxes that has come in, 2,200 crores more than what the last Finance Commission gave us. In terms of the state's own revenue, which makes it about 13.7% of our revenues. In 2017, we were at 1,400 crores. Today, we are at 2,500 crores. So a jump of almost 1,100 crores has come in. And it's a similar story in centrally sponsored schemes and grants from the center, even the non-tax revenue. We have seen a huge jump even from our revenue front and from the taxation front in our state. So therefore, these funds that have come in have actually helped the state improve the overall spending capacity of the state, and that is the reason why we are seeing today that the government has been able to increase the overall expenditure that is there. Now, sir, there was a concern that was raised by some of the honorable members talking about the fact that we were increasing our fiscal deficit and the fact that we were taking a lot of loan and debt on our books. Sir, there is a certain limit to which any state can borrow. There is a certain limit to which the fiscal deficit can be pushed up to. And this is not defined by the state governments. These are defined by central governments, sir, and the agencies at the central level. Therefore, even if the government wanted to go beyond a certain level, state government, we can't. We have to stick to a certain level. But there is a reason and a purpose why a certain level of fiscal deficit is allowed. And it is allowed so that it enables the state governments to take the necessary funds to pump into the overall economic development so that the returns can come in terms of better infrastructure, better ecosystem, and more help being given at the grassroots level. And Government of India has allowed the fiscal deficit to be at a 4%. I mean, of course, there are different levels in different years. But whether it was 4% or whether it was 4.5%, at one level it was 3.5%. So the state government has never gone beyond the mandate that has been given by the central government. So we have maximized the fiscal space, as we call it, sir. So in fact, the Finance Commission chairperson, when he had come for the meeting here to discuss about the state's finances, commented that Meghalaya is not using the fiscal space to fund the overall developmental activities. Now, what I mean to say by that, sir, is that when a government of India or a Federal Reserve is allowing the state governments to borrow, say, 2,000 crores, that is a limit to which it is allowing. The fiscal space that we get is to go up to the 2,000 crores. But then if the government doesn't go to the 2,000 crores then, and we only spend 1,000, that means we are not using that 1,000 crores which is legally allowed to every state. So therefore, it is a duty of the state, because the Government of India frames the rules on that basis and says, look, no state can go beyond 4%. No state can go beyond 3.5%. What I'm trying to say, sir, is that we have not broken the rules that have been given by Government of India. We have stuck to the limits that have been given by Government of India, but we have ensured that we used the maximum amount that was there available so that we are able to fund the different programs and schemes that are meant for the state and the people of our state. So while we say that, also in the whole process, sir, while we spent all this money, there was a large number of reforms that took place. And we spent a lot of money in terms of different areas and different development programs that we had. When you talk of agriculture, so today, the largest welfare scheme in farmers anywhere in the Northeast today is being run by the government of Meghalaya. And this MDA government has ensured that through a difficult phase of COVID, when farmers were going through a very, very critical phase, we decided to help the farmers by giving them 5,000 rupees each and form them into producer groups so that there would be a structured way in which we would move forward in the whole process. We had mission mode programs. There are mission mode programs worth about 700 crores which are being implemented as we speak. We had different IVCS programs through which we gave working capital as well as interest-free loans to the different departments, to the different IVCS, so that they are able to use this money for the benefit of their groups. And so you have to realize that while we talk of agriculture, we have not just gone ahead and just start distributing 5,000 rupees to farmers. We realize, sir, that there is a pyramid structure that we have to realize. At the bottom, sir, there are farmers. Now, farmers need that basic support that they need to be given at the individual level, or if they can be collectivized, made into producer groups, then their bargaining power increases. Hence, we started collectivizing and forming producer groups. We started helping them financially so that they get money to move forward. In the same level, we also had self-help groups that were formed. So all this at the bottom of the pyramid, you have this large 4.5 lakh families which are dependent on agriculture and allied sectors. And we started funding them with different programs through SHG, different programs to focus. If you were to combine the entire amount, it will amount to about 450 crores. Now this has been given absolutely at the grassroots level. So the next level of the pyramid comes the self-help, comes the IVCS, the Integrated Village Corporations and other cooperative societies and programs. These are more skilled or more focused programs where out of these different self-help groups and producer groups, those who are doing slightly better are then promoted and helped to form the cooperative societies. For these cooperative societies, sir, piggery mission at 200 crores, dairy mission at 200 crores, the aqua mission going on at 70 crores, the poultry mission which will start at about 125 crores, the goatry mission at about 75 crores. All this amounting to more than 600 crores will be there in mission mode for these different cooperative societies that are there. Once these cooperative societies are able to help the farmers, the next level of the pyramid is what we call the entrepreneurs. And that is where the program of the Prime comes in. So the Prime program is a more of an entrepreneurship-based program because farmers may not be able to process and package at the level which the international market demands. So therefore, once the farmers grow their products, once the cooperative societies collect them, it is the entrepreneurs and the Prime program through which we have helped thousands of entrepreneurs come up and today are making beautiful projects, beautiful products packaged at international level and they're selling. So the entire value chain has been focused on, and once one member asked that whether this focus program is going to be sustainable. Therefore, so if you look at it as a standalone project, it is not sustainable. But it is it's a part of a much larger picture where we're spending a huge amount on the agriculture and the farmers. When you talk of infrastructure, sir, as was mentioned in the reports that you've seen, unprecedented amount of funds has been put into this. More than 2,500 crores of road projects are going on as we speak. In the water supply, 786 crores of projects have already been implemented. Over 2,000 crores will be implemented in the next years to come. In the power sector, huge reforms have been made. In the IT sector also, sir, we have come out with large investment in the IT sector division also. And so at this point in time, I would like to take a few minutes to mention about the power sector because it's a very critical sector that we have. As we all are aware, sir, one of the honorable members had mentioned last time that there is a huge gap in terms of the expenditure and the revenue of MECL. And it is absolutely true, sir. So there is a huge gap in terms of the income and the expenditure, and it's a huge problem for the MECL. But sir, if you were to look back at the history of MECL, it's been there for, the problems have been there for multiple reasons. And I'd like to just go through all those factors so that the House and the public in general get a sense of what the reforms that have been done in the power sector to improve that. So first, of course, we had a very critical issue of the Atmc losses. And therefore, sir, the Atmc losses are at 30% right now, which is one of the highest in the country. Now, our target, sir, is to improve the overall distribution system so that we are able to reduce the Atmc losses from 30% and try to bring it down to 12%. These are reforms that are mandated by Government of India, and we are very committed to doing this. And this is being done, sir, mostly by 2-3 very important interventions. Number one is the smart meters that we're trying to put in to create the efficiency in the billing. And number two, sir, which is a very important scheme, is the Revamped distribution scheme, which is a new scheme of Government of India. And we are one of the first states to have submitted the proposal in the DPR, valued at about 2,600 crores. Once this is approved, there will be a massive reformation at the grassroots level to improve the distribution network, which we are sure will lead to a reduction in the Atmc losses from 30% to 12%. So second issue, which was there, was an issue that was very much discussed in this House. I will not go too much into it, but we'll just mention about it. was about the NTPC agreement that was there, which mandated government of Meghalaya to pay on an average of 146 crores per year as fixed charges, in spite of the fact that we may not take power from NTPC. And because of that agreement, we had to pay almost close to 400 plus crores to NTPC. So this matter, in fact, now has been referred to the judiciary, and we are fighting with the NTPC to ensure that this amount is again rechecked, and if we can have a situational system where this entire fixed charges can be scrapped totally. So this discussion is still on, sir, and it's at the judiciary level, so I would not like to comment on detail. But while this dues were there were dues from other large producing or generation companies like NIPCO and Power Grid and OTPC that was amounting to almost 1,345 crores. And as you're aware, sir, that this government had taken a decisive decision to pay back these loans by pay back these amounts by ensuring that we took the Atmc loan. And it was a tough decision, not an easy decision, sir. But we had to take that call, and we had to, I should say, bite the bullet, because if these continued, then we would have the regulations that we used to have in the past years. But now, because of the fact that we have cleared almost 90+% of these dues, that there is a huge relief to the state government and to MECL and to the people in general, where we don't have to see the regulations of power cut to a large extent anymore. Of course, small amounts could be here and there, but the massive kind of guillotine that used to be there on our necks, that anytime they would start cutting the power, those aspects are no longer there, sir. At the same time, sir, the legacy issue of the pension corpus fund, which was which was supposed to be put in at the time of debundling of about 840 crores. This aspect also was not done at that point in time in 2010, and there were, of course, multiple reasons for it, and the entire shortage of funds at that point in time. But that led to a large impact on us being able to use this amount into the tariff regulation for the state, and the commission, the regulatory commission, is not agreeable to put this pension amount that we pay right now into the overall tariff revision, and because of the fact that this pension corpus fund was not created at that point in time. So this has led to the fact that we're not able to increase our overall the rates at which the power is sold. But nonetheless, sir, this aspect also now is being looked into, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to find a solution to this particular issue also. At the same time, sir, the investments that have been made in different schools, education centers, the EMRS project, over 1,200 crores of projects are being implemented from the school perspective. And as was mentioned by the honorable members, that they have seen a large number of schools that have been coming up, and more will come up. You know, the honorable LO has given a suggestion, though of course I still feel that we should give the 40 lakhs, 45 lakhs. But suggestion has come in that we should also look at other schools, smaller schools, which need small renovation fund. Definitely, sir, that's a positive suggestion, and definitely we can examine and look at the possibility of giving 1,000 schools with smaller amounts so that we can cover a larger section. But we felt that giving at least a sufficient amount to be able to come up with something concrete would be good. So we have done that in 2 phases. We can definitely examine this proposal and see if we can come up with smaller amounts for a larger number of schools, because a lot of schools don't require new buildings as such. Renovation can be done, and so we'll definitely examine that aspect also. And sir, if you were to look at the budget, for the first time, I would say in the history of our state, that all the important public offices or systems or units where people go a lot, which is schools, health, administrative offices, be it blocks, police stations, or even the SP offices, the DC offices, Sir, a large number of these institutes and these offices have never been renovated in the past. And therefore, for the first time, there's a massive push. Police stations and police units, I think there's never been a program by any government to go in a large scale like this, where about 100 crores will be spent to give SP offices to all the districts that don't have SP offices. At the same time, improve the overall police stations which are in a very, very dilapidated condition, and also give funds to the different battalions which do not even have sufficient place for the manpower, the personnel to stay in, and some of them don't even have the block office or the administration offices. So all of these will be addressed when we take up this entire project of the police administration. Also, it's the block offices which have been neglected for a very long time, that we will be giving 40 new blocks, and this will be something, so this is again, as I said, unprecedented, and we will see for the first time that the place where maximum of the rural people go to, and almost 70% of the services that the people require are in the blocks itself. So for the first time, 120 crores will be spent by this government to ensure that all block offices come up. 350 crores for the health centers. Again, something that has never been seen before. And yes, there have been improvements in a piecemeal basis, but a large-scale program like this has never happened, sir. So therefore, all of this requires funds, and that is the reason why we have been able to, as I said, mobilize and get these funds. Now, so while I say that, it's not a simple thing to get funds, sir. A lot of people might think that we just go to the bank and we just get the funds from the bank and the matter ends out there. So banks or the borrowings that we take, which is again, as I said, mandated by the government of India, is just one part of the funding that we get. All these infrastructure projects have been funded through different formats, sir. Now, when I talked about tourism, so there is very less amount of any kind of the public debt or the entire loan that is going to come in. These are being done by externally aided projects. And I do appreciate the points mentioned by the LO when he said that in the beginning there were some projects that they'd taken up under the Meghalaya. But sir, I'd just like to add to that when he said that it all became basis on the basis of the credit rating of the state, sir. But sir, it's not, there is no such thing as there is a credit rating, but these agencies, sir, have a perception, and they work towards the perception that is there of the states. Sir, during the time of 2014, 15, 16, the perception was not very positive, not just for Meghalaya, sir, for the entire Northeast. And we as a Northeast state region had a great difficulty in getting externally aided projects. And during that time when the first project, which was the Meghalaya Livelihood and Access to Market projects, the Meghalaya project came in, because of the apprehensions of the agency that had given us the money that time, we had to give almost 40% as a share of the state's, as a state share. And that was a huge amount, so almost amounting to 214 crores out of the total amount that the government of India gave at 298 crores, and state had to give 214 crores. So there was a huge amount that the state government had to shell out at that point in time. But as we went forward, sir, the agency's perception of the Meghalaya state and other states also in Northeast improved, especially for Meghalaya, sir. And that is the reason why in the last 4 years we have been able to mobilize projects worth 8,000 crores to the externally aided projects, and that too at a share of 80-20, not 60-40. So therefore, the percentage or the amount that we had to shell out went down considerably, because the externally aided projects, the organizations and the banks that were giving us the money had more confidence after seeing the performance of the state and overall improvement in the state's implementation of different programs that it was doing. So similarly, if you look at the centrally sponsored schemes, PHE department officials and our minister are here. Sir, it was not easy. You're talking of 4,000 households been connected through pipes in rural areas in 2019. And in 2 years' time, we are at 2,20,000 plus. This can't just happen just on its own, sir. There has been a concerted effort. There was less manpower. We had to recruit 45 engineers. We had to really get the team moving. We had to monitor the projects in micro level. And therefore, the credit must be given to the PHE department, the Honorable Minister and the officials for having done that, sir. And while they do that, sir, I agree, there could be shortcomings. We don't disagree to that, sir. But the pace at which things happen, sir, there could be. And that is why I welcome when the honorable members bring the complaints to us. Because it's not that things can't go wrong, they could go wrong. We are implementing thousands of households a day. And therefore, we are monitoring maybe 2,000, 3,000 projects at the same time. And if there is an issue, it is the responsibility of the honorable members to bring it to our notice. And if we don't take action, then there's a problem. But I can assure you that if we find any issues, we will take action, sir. And I have been somebody who has been doing this personally. So I go down to the village level to see the quality of the pipe, see the quality of the tap. If I see that there's no platform, I make it a point that I complain myself. And I tell the engineer concerned, the contractor concerned, change this tap, change this pipe, make the platform. So therefore, sir, while there are shortcomings, because it's a massive project and we are doing it at a massive scale, complaints are welcome, and I assure the House that we will take steps to do it. Now, sir, this implementation, why I'm talking about this, is that Meghalaya may be one of the few states that will be getting a bonus this year also. Last year, sir, we were one of the 3 or one of the 4 states in the country which got a bonus. And bonus means if you complete the utilization of the funds budgeted for the state, the central gives you bonus. We got a bonus last year, so we're going to get a bonus this year also. And that's a clear reflection of how the team is performing. Now, getting this bonus, one cannot say that, why are we taking loan? These are happening because there's a certain level of efficiency in the team. PMGSY has never seen this kind of efficiency before. I know that engineers from PMGSY, PHE sometimes are in office till 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, preparing the documents, going through the estimates, signing the estimates. Not easy for them, sir. And this performance has reflected in the increase in the centrally sponsored schemes, be it PMGSY, be it PHE. Just now the member from Pulbari was mentioning about the fact that MGNREGS is touching almost 1,500 crores. So it is not a joke. And while we do that, as mentioned by him, and which is of course, I have also made the statements many times, that Assam state, which is 10 times bigger, has a budget for MGNREGS similar to ours. It's a clear reflection of the large scale of funds that we're getting from the government. This just doesn't happen just like that, sir. It's not that we just apply and say, give us more funds. It only comes when there is efficiency in the system. If you utilize the money, if you perform well, if you implement well, you get more funds. That's the basic rule of Government of India. And that is where, if it's happening in one department, I would say it's luck. But today you're seeing it in PHE, you're seeing it in PMGSY, you're seeing it in MGNREGS, you're seeing it in externally aided projects. So this reflects the efficiency in the government and the fact that we're implementing things, and that is why the trust of the different government agencies and the different EAPs and the big banks is there, and that is the reason why the funds are flowing into our state, and that is why today we are touching 15,600 crores of expenditure. So that's why the movement is there, sir. And sir, if you look at the overall overall work that's going on in the agriculture sector, the infrastructure that we're doing, and the education, the health, the administration, all these, and tourism, sir, all these are massive programs, sir. And while I say that, I would like to thank the honorable member from Umroi, you see, who brought out a very important aspect, saying that, the youth unemployment is a very critical issue. And I must make this statement, sir, that if he has doubts, which he obviously has the right to have doubts, so he has not understood the the entire budget and the crux of the budget that we're going to. Almost everything that we're doing in this budget, almost everything, is towards creating more livelihood. Everything, sir. So today, I heard one of the honorable members mention about the fact that EMRS services, GVK services should be run by the government, sir. So I would like to state here that I understand the concerns of the employees who are working there. Their concerns are genuine, and obviously as a government, we would like to see that, we'd like to help them in every way. And in fact, for the matter of fact, every citizen of our state, it's the duty of the government to see how we could help them, sir. But so that, while we do that, we need to also realize that government cannot give every service that is there. The government has a role to play. So we must realize that government is here to provide or be a facilitator in this entire process. Our mandate is to maintain law and order. Our mandate is to bring overall development. Our mandate is to create policies. Our mandate is to create the ecosystem and the environment where entrepreneurship and business can prosper. So therefore, sir, if government starts going into providing GVK services or starts going into services of other sectors like tourism and other businesses like producing different kind of products, I think, sir, we will lose focus. There is a necessity for us to realize that government has a specific role to play, and it's important that we play that role well. And therefore, sir, while we do that, as I said, one of the last mandates which I was mentioning is to create that ecosystem. And therefore, sir, the purpose and the entire effort of the government is to create this ecosystem. Now today, for the youth, for example, sir, now I talked about everything from the prime programs, by the way, in which almost about 1,200 entrepreneurs have benefited today. We talked about the mission mode programs, where again different entrepreneurs are being helped today. We talked about the tourism projects. So we will be putting up 3,000 crores worth of tourism projects in different ways. I'll mention about that. We are going to be investing in the movies and the filmmaking industry for the first time. And this is being done again to promote the youngsters and to bring out the creative talent in them, which has never been done before in this way, sir. I know that previous governments have tried to support the movie industry, but our approach is slightly different, where we feel that the local artist, the local film industry, the local filmmaking also needs to be pushed. So while we create the environment of attracting bigger players from outside, we should also give the space to our own film makers and movie industry artists and filmmakers who are there in our state. We have programs for the different performing arts that is happening. All these aspects are leading towards creating more job opportunities for the youth. Now, again, going back to the comment made by one of the members that government should take over the services. Now, like that, say if tomorrow Meghalaya government starts making movies or Meghalaya government starts making music, of course we have a lot of musicians out here. That'll be quite easy for us. But on a serious note, we can't do that. We can't do that. We provide the platform, we provide the ecosystem, and then we let the entrepreneurs and let the youth take it. That's how economies throughout the world develop. There's a role of the government, there's a role of the entrepreneurship. Somebody was mentioning earlier about the tax collection and the benefits that we get. Absolutely correct. That's how governments work. Governments create the atmosphere and the infrastructure. Entrepreneurs come in and expand that into a large business. Government collects taxes from there and invests it back into the ecosystem. And that's how an economy or a state or a government functions. And that's why it is important that we keep focusing on the youth, but it's also important that government does not come into the service sector and starts doing business. Government should not be in the business of business. Government should be, as I said, is mandated to maintain law and order, development, infrastructure, create policies, and create the ecosystem for the private sector to flourish, sir. So while we talk about the youth in this program, so like I'm giving an example of the tourism sector, that we'll be having different places coming up. So a very innovative thing we've done in this the budget this time is that we have realized that while the primary activity, which is to provide the rooms, which is in tourism sector, which is to have restaurants, and for agriculture, which is to grow the agriculture products, produce them. We also realize that there is a ancillary activity that is involved in this also, which are activities like transport. Now, we have seen in the past that a large number of transportation work that is there, which is very much needed, is being done by outsiders, I may say, or with people who may not be from our state. And the youth lose out in this entire prospect. Now, we inaugurated this IT park. There are 1,500 youths that are working in the IT park as we speak. And we are going to expand this in the second phase, which is going to add another 3,000 jobs. But that's the direct job that you're adding. What we don't realize, that we actually need taxis to drive these students from the IT park back to their home. Therefore, we have come out with a policy for taxi aggregation, like a Ola, or a Uber. Now, we can have our own Uber and Ola in Meghalaya. And if these taxis and aggregators can come up, we as a government are ready to support and help these individuals to be the aggregators. So we have done this aggregation work for tourism. We have announced in this budget that there will be 200 luxury vehicles that will be given to our youth, so that there can be the high quality tourist cabs and taxis which the tourists will enjoy, and this will be run by our own boys and girls. And therefore, jobs and opportunities will come out in those areas also. We also realize that even to transport the agriculture products, just because there's nobody else there, we depend on other people, private people. Some private vehicles will come from Assam to pick it up. Since there's no choice, we have to agree to them, and they may even charge us an exorbitant amount. But that's why we've introduced 200 more of these pickups, or whatever vehicles we will buy, 200 more of these to be part of the I-teams. And once we do that, this will be run by our boys and girls. And therefore, there will be not just one person, there will be a group. So it could be a youth group that will be run it, or there could be a farmers group that will run them. So there will be a group of people, and through these ancillary activities and the support logistic structure that is required for tourism, for IT, and for agriculture, we are hopeful that more of these jobs and employments will come out. Therefore, our focus, sir, is towards creating employment. We have increased the age limit for the government service. This is also a step towards realizing that it's important. Today, this decision had been pending for a long time, but this government, the MDA government, took this decision that in the interest of the youth, we must increase the age limit so that more of our youths get the opportunity for the government jobs. Though I must put a rider to this, that government jobs are limited. So we must not be of the opinion that that government jobs will be available for everyone. It's not possible, and we must realize that. But while we say that, at least the jobs that are there should be given, and more of the youth should get an opportunity to apply for it. But while we do that, we must realize that it is, at the end of the day, the private sector and the overall entrepreneurship that will be the main driver of the economy and provide the maximum jobs that we need. So therefore, sir, these are the different programs that we're doing for the youth, and our efforts have been very much youth-centric. We're also concerned, sir, about the overall environment. And if you've seen, sir, that in the last few years and also the years to come, a lot of projects will be taken up for the overall environmental protection, be it the catchment area protection of about 350 crores, whether it's the reservoir program that we have for 720 crores, whether it's the National Resource Management Program for 500 crores, and a new program, sir, which is very innovative, is something that is called Payment for Ecosystem Services. So this Payment for Ecosystem Services is a first of its kind program in the entire Northeast. So in this program, we realize that the catchment areas are very important to protect. But at the same time, we also realize that the people living around the catchment areas depend on the forest products out there. Hence, it is not fair for us to simply say that you cannot rely on the forest anymore. So therefore, the government, if it says that you have to stop encroaching into the forest, we need to support them with some kind of a livelihood program or some financial help. That is where this payment for ecosystem services comes in. Where, sir, we will be taking up few of the catchment areas which are important, the houses around it, and the families around those catchment areas which are dependent on their livelihood on the forest products there, and they end up destroying the catchment areas. The government of Meghalaya will be giving them financial incentive to not do it. So money will be given to them to be protectors of the forest. Money will be given to them to be actually volunteers who will actually work on behalf of the government so that they don't destroy the forest and the catchment area anymore. And in fact, they work as an agent of the government to protect these areas. So this program called the Payment for Ecosystem Services is being done for the first time in the Northeast. And I truly believe that if we start doing this throughout the Northeast, this is the only way to ensure that we are able to protect our environment, at the same time support the people in the livelihood programs that they need. So we have seen that there has been always a huge clash between environment and the economy. And it's been a very tough situation for all of us. And we see that the environment is degraded, but at the same time we also see that we can't stop it immediately because livelihoods depend on it. We have seen so much issue that came up because of the mining, and suddenly the mining was stopped and people lost their livelihood. We had to go through a huge struggle to be able to fight it in the Supreme Court, and we got success to some extent. But so we are still working towards that, and I'm hopeful that in the months to come, we will actually see that transition which requires the balance between the economy and the ecology will take place in the long run, and we will see that scientific mining will also start happening in the state of Meghalaya, sir. Sir, also, while I speak about the environment, so you are aware that as a government, we have taken up some really important projects and landmark projects for the state capital, sir. And the first of that would be the assembly building itself, sir. So, and with your continuous pressure, I should say, and your continuous interest in this entire subject, I'm very hopeful that we will be in the new assembly in the next session. At the same time, so we do feel a bit nostalgic that we may not be in this place, but that's good and that's bad. But I'm hopeful, sir. I don't want to jump the gun right now and say it will happen, because there are a lot of things, a lot of work needs to be done. But as per the reports that I have received from the contractors who are there, and also the meeting that I had with you, you have also expressed confidence that we should be able to have the next session in the new assembly building, sir. And I'm very hopeful that that will happen, sir. At the same time, sir, you are aware that on the 21st of January, we have laid the foundation stone for the new administrative city. And this is something, sir, that is going to be historic in nature, sir. And the entire idea behind this is very simple, that in and around the new Shillong township, including the land that we have taken now, including the other lands that are there, the assembly is that side. We are hopeful, sir, that in the due course of time, maybe next 3 years to 5 years, we will see that slowly the administration of the city will be shifting towards the new administrative side, whether some of them will be in the new area, some may be in different areas, but they will be all towards the assembly to ensure that the decongestion of the city takes place. We are aware, sir, that once that takes place, once the offices are shifted, we will be at liberty to use some of the space to widen the roads in some areas. We'll be also seeing that we'll have lesser traffic that is in and around Shillong city. And therefore, in the long run, we are very hopeful that this decisive step will also ensure that we are able to lead and create decongestion, which has been a very long pending issue of the state. And I'm hopeful that we will be able to find some solution to this in the coming years, sir. So while I speak about all these aspects of development, we are also we've also seen, sir, that this project, that the budget has focused on the sustainable development goals, has focused on the youth and also on women, sir. And I think it's most appropriate for me to mention on the floor of this House, sir, that for the first time in the history of our state, that both the Chief Secretary and the Special DG both are women. And that's a really strong message from empowerment of women point of view. And more importantly, sir, both women are from our state. So that's even a more proud moment for us, that both the Chief Secretary and the Special DG are both women, and that too indigenous women from our state, sir. And with this, sir, we realize that we have been really focusing on empowerment and of women, and focusing on key issues that relate to women, whether it is through financial programs like the self-help group and NRLM projects that we're doing, whether it's the health-related projects where we're focusing on maternal mortality and infant mortality like the mother program, or whether it's the reservation of women, 50% reservation for the secretary post in all the VECs throughout the state. We have been really focused on ensuring that women must get an equal share in terms of the overall social status, as well as the economic status at the grassroots level, and at the same time ensure that more focus is placed on the health. And while I say that, sir, I'm not claiming that we are able to resolve every single issue. There are still many issues that need to be worked on. It is not very simple, sir. A lot of challenges are there. But all I can say is that so we have taken concrete steps, and we're working towards ensuring that we are able to give justice to our women in the state of Meghalaya, sir. Sir, at the same time, while I speak on all the different issues regarding economic development, sir, we have really focused in the last 4 years also on many issues that have been very important to the state, sir. And few of them, like for example the border issue, has been something that has been there for a very long time, sir. And I'm happy to see, sir, that on the 50th year, I think, of the statehood, there was different articles that came up. And I remember, sir, that every year when these articles used to come out about the completion of the government, 1 year completion or a new year coming in, I used to always see that border issue used to be number one. Government has not done anything about it. Government has not done anything about it. And I was, if normal process was continuing, then again, the headlines would have been that the border issue, nothing has been done about it on the 50th year of our statehood. But pleasantly and to our satisfaction to some extent, this was not an issue because of the fact that this government has been decisive, sir. We have been clear that we have to resolve this issue. There is no reason why the people in the border area have to continue suffering the way we have been. Always living in fear that somebody from Assam will come in, somebody will come in and from the administration, from the police, and pick them up. Some firing will take place. How long can this go on, sir? So therefore, the government has decided that we will move forward. And that is the reason why today we are on the verge. We are on the verge of signing this agreement for the first 6 locations. And I appreciate the concerns of all the opposition and the MLAs and the other society, civil society, that have brought out different issues and asked us to look into it, sir. And we have examined all of them. And we have gone through most of the points that have been mentioned, sir. And I can assure all the members of the House, we might have the discussion again on this tomorrow, so I won't talk much about it, that so we are, as I said, very close, because the signing has not taken place, but the communication that has come to me is that the signing of this agreement with the final discussion with the MHA will take place within this month itself. And the tentative date that has come to me is the 27th of March. And therefore, of course, all the cabinet colleagues and the other officials who were involved in this, we will be going to Delhi to mark this very important occasion. And I'm hopeful so that 27th of March will be an historic day where we will be able to actually come to a final conclusion and agreement on the 6 locations in the first phase that we have, sir. At the same time, sir, the issue of thermometer has been something that has been a big issue. We faced the challenge in the first year itself, and we are very close again, sir, on that subject also. And within a few weeks or months' time, we should be able to once again come to an even more important step. Recently, the High Court has given an order, though the case is still on, sir, so I will not speak much about it because it may be sub judice. But this is again another subject that the court has also taken cognizance of it, and they have come out with some observations which I'm sure will go in favor of us being able to resolve this particular matter in a very, very amicable way, sir. So the issue that is also regarding law and order, which is the HNLC issue, and as you're aware, sir, that after a lot of communication, discussion, and involvement with a lot of people, so we have actually been able to get a communication from HNLC where they wish to have discussions unconditionally and within the constitutional framework of the country. And the Government of India has accepted that. We have named the interlocutor also, and I'm sure, sir, that with this step, we will be once again moving towards coming out with a positive solution to this issue also. And of course, discussions are still left. One cannot say exactly how long it will take or what issues will come out, but at least this is a positive step, sir. It's a positive step towards finding a solution in this entire issue, and therefore, I'm very hopeful, sir, that we will be able to take this particular issue in a very positive way forward, sir. And so while all of this is happening, our friends from who were in the opposition last time, sir, and recently before this session had ended, they had come and they had expressed their desire to support the government, and they had come in and given a letter to me. And at that time, of course, we saw a lot of comments that were made by different political parties saying that, you know, they are here to take advantage and they are trying to play politics. But, sir, I would like to say on their behalf and on behalf of the MDA government that it is not the politics that has brought them together. It is the policies that have brought them together, sir. They have realized the policy of this government. It's not the politics, sir. It is the policy. They have seen the work that has been done. They have seen the kind of efforts that a government has made. And those who say that they have come for politics are wrong, sir. They have come for the policy of this government. And therefore, I thank them for strengthening the mandate of this government, believing in this government to make sure that we reach the logical conclusion that we are supposed to. And they're doing it in the interest of the people, sir. They're doing it in the interest of the people. It's not that they have just come in, as I said, for politics. It is for policy, and it is for the people that they have come in. And I must take this opportunity to thank them for believing in this government and supporting the endeavor of this government to continuously serve the people and to be able to find solutions to the problems that we are facing. Sir, just a few more last points I'd like to mention, which is regarding the fact that, again, so it's a sensitive issue, but I'd like to just say it in this way, that a lot of members have raised the issue of the spending that we have done, say that we should be careful in terms of the finances we raise. But, sir, ironically, these were the same members who came to me and said, we want roads, we want block, we want different development aspects, sir. The development aspect and roads and all and buildings and schools will happen only with money. So they have to decide, sir, whether they want the development or they don't want us to take the money. So, sir, it can both have to go hand in hand. So yes, we are taking the money. We are, and as I said, the money that's coming in is not something that we're just taking the market loan and increasing the loan at our will. Absolutely not, sir. Whatever funds that are coming in through loan, coming in through the public finance, coming through the borrowings, is within the mandate that has been given by Government of India. Government of India allows every state to take up a certain amount of loan, and we have utilized that amount. There's nothing wrong in that, sir. But while we do that, you have to also realize that the maximum amount of spending that has happened because of the efficient work of the government. PHE, it's not a question of loans, sir. It is because the bonus that they're getting. PMGSY, it's not because of the loans. It is because of the work that PWD is doing. The MGNRH is not because of loan. It is because of the work that is being done by the CNRA department. Today, sir, in spite of the challenges that we faced, the previous governments had taken up a large number of projects, sir. I'm not here to compare, sir, but it's just to give an idea to the people. So there was an Ampati water supply scheme that had come in, a big challenge for us. And a lot of problem we faced. About 199 crores is the estimate, revised estimate cost for it, sir. So the previous government, they sanctioned 27 crores and the matter ended there, sir. But it was after that we had to take up the project. So in spite of the constraints and the challenges we had, we have already released another additional 50 crores for the implementation of the Ampati water supply scheme, and we will be finishing the water supply scheme within the next financial year also, sir. These are projects started by governments, so no matter which constituency of ruling or opposition, it is our duty to finish it. Similarly, sir, Nongstoin water supply scheme with a 33 crore project, and only 38 crores was made available. But today it is this government that has spent over 81 crores to ensure that the project is almost completed. The Rambai water supply scheme, the 9 residential schools, model schools, sir, amount of about 16 crores was spent up to 2018, and now 29 crores has been spent on this project. So therefore, sir, the entire argument of government spending higher and looking at the different aspects, one has to realize that in order to make the projects complete, funds have to be raised. And while we do raise the funds, we ensure that we stick with the mandates that have been given by Government of India, and we do not cross the limits that have been set by Government of India. Now, so today, you will see very soon that the old projects that have been pending for years and years, finally, sir, the Crowborough Hotel, we are expecting that we'll be able to inaugurate it and start the Crowborough Hotel by the month of June or July, sir. We'll be able to start the Marriott Hotel also within a very short time, with a matter of months. The Assembly's building, sir, which for 18 years nothing had been done, and yes, there were some tenders called, this and that, sir, but the decision to actually allot the work, the decision to actually organize and mobilize 219 crores to complete it was done during the term of this government. In the last 3 years, we have not only taken the decision, we are also about to inaugurate the building in the matter of few months, sir. So these are the kind of achievements, I should say, that have been there. And I must at this point in time thank all my cabinet colleagues and the entire government machinery, the officers, and the way the commitment has been there, sir. And I don't want to quote officers because it will not be appropriate for me to do. But sir, if you were to speak to officers, they will tell you the kind of environment that we work with, the decisiveness that we have, the kind of funds that have been flowing has never been there to this level, sir, in the past. Of course, everybody has tried their best, but it's really moved forward, sir. But while I conclude, sir, I would like to say that we are not perfect, sir. And I'm not saying that we have not made mistakes. And I'm not saying that we are able to resolve everything. And neither am I saying that we have been able to make the state a perfect state, sir. So absolutely not. We have only laid the foundation for it now. We have set the direction in which we should follow and we should move forward. And there are many challenges that are there. When we come to maternal mortality, sir, there is a lot to be done. When it comes to education, sir, we, as the index has always rated us at a low level. Again, sir, it's not to blame anybody, but it's not that it happened in the last 3 years. It's a legacy issue which has been there. Nobody's to blame. But then we need to figure out how to move forward. And that is why we are investing hundreds and hundreds of crores in buildings. Because without infrastructure, where will the students study? So therefore, so these are concrete steps that we have taken. A lot more has to be done. Not enough at all, sir. A lot more has to be done. Whether you talk of road connection also. I know so many have mentioned about the road condition. Honorable MLA from Silsila mentioned about her road. I know because it's my old constituency. And I've traveled the road sometimes, but you know, I avoid that road myself now because it's in a bad condition. And I admit it. But I'm happy to inform her that already that road has been sanctioned. Under NESED's scheme, that is going to also be taken up at an amount of almost 50 crores because it's a very important economic connection that is there. So like that, sir, there are many other roads which needs to be done. And I do admit, and so many of our members have given me so many points relating to their constituencies. I sincerely apologize that I will not be able to go into each one of them because if I start one, then you know it better, I have to finish all. So then if Honorable Speaker is ready to give dinner, I'm ready to answer to each one of them. But I'm sure that all of you know that Honorable Deputy CM and all the cabinet ministers and myself are always accessible to each and every one of you. We never say no. We always try to find a solution to your problems, be it ruling, be it opposition. I think the opposition members also will appreciate. The Honorable Member from Mosangram knows that there was a very critical road in his constituency where for 40 years that road was never taken up. And in spite of being an opposition constituency, there could be a lot of political opposition to giving that road. But realizing the importance for the people of that area, the people of the constituency, we decided to give that road. And I think the road construction is going on at a very fast pace. The Honorable Member from Umrah had mentioned about the water supply scheme that is there. And it's going on in full swing. In fact, there are many other proposals that he had mentioned to us. And we as a government, as I said, we have been as fair as possible, not just to the constituencies, but also overall regional side also. And before I resume my seat, sir, I once again would like to state that yes, while we have mentioned about all these things that we have done, sir, we are not perfect. I admit that, sir. I also admit that there are many challenges and many development aspects that need to be done. And we are doing our best, is all I can say, sir. We are doing our best, and you are seeing it from the numbers. But it will not be possible for us to resolve every single issue in the matter of 4 years, or even in the matter of this next 1 year. But as I said, our efforts are on. We have put the track or the direction in the right place. We have a vision, we have a target of being the top 10 states. For the top 10 states, we have a target that we need to ensure that our GSDP goes up. For the GSDP to go up, we know that the tourism sector, the agriculture sector, service sector are very important for us. Government spending is important for us. Hence, the tourism sector, we're investing 3,000 crores. Agriculture, we're spending 1,200 and we'll do even more. And other division areas for infrastructure, we're investing more than 5,000 crores. It's a plan, sir. It's not just a statement we're making. It's a statement with a vision, with a plan, and the funds to ensure that we achieve the goals, sir. And that's the kind of movement that we're going towards. I'm not saying it'll happen in the next 1 year. It will take time, but we have laid the foundation to ensure that the government moves and the state moves in the right direction with the objective of ensuring that the youth, the women, the farmers, and the overall section, all the sections of our state and our society get the benefit of the development that we are trying to give to the people, sir. So with these few words, sir, I once again thank all the members for the different points that have been made. I once again apologize that I will not be able to go into all the details that are there, but I have personally noted down most of them, and my officers obviously have noted down all of them, and I give an invitation to any of the members to come to my office at any time to take care of the issues. Honorable LO had raised the issue about the CMS RDF. I would like to inform the Honorable LO that we have now combined the scheme into a combined scheme called the CMS-DF. So there's no urban and there's no rural. We have changed the guidelines where because the earlier guidelines needed about 1.5 years, 2 years for sanction. Now the guidelines are made in such a way that the sanctions are done within 15 days from the day I signed on the approval. And most of the MLAs have already taken the funds from the CMS-DF. The information I got is LO's budget is still there, and so therefore the last 4 years, the budget that is there is still available. So if anybody from your office could always just send me the required documentation and the schemes, we'll be happy to implement that. But most of the other 59 MLAs, I'm presuming, or maybe 58 MLAs have already availed the CMS-DF scheme, sir. Sir, other clarifications are there, as I said, but it may not be possible for me to go into all. But definitely, sir, I have taken note of it, and I will do my best in order to do justice to their demands. I know that a lot of them have mentioned about blocks and subdivisions. At the rate at which subdivision has been asked, sir, I think we'll have one subdivision in every constituency. So it may not be possible for us to go into such demands, but we will see what is most fair. We will see what the area requires, the distance from other administrative centers, the inconvenience to the people that is caused, and whichever blocks and subdivisions are justified, so definitely we'll look into. Of course, the word district was not mentioned out there, but sir, we are open to definitely examining the demand for other districts also, but we have to make sure that it is justified in a manner that it will be practical to move forward. And the Honorable MLA is aware about that issue, and we are trying to find a way forward to it. But as I said, sir, we have to also see that while we take a decision like that, it should be something that we can justify in terms of the benefit that is going to be provided to the larger section of society. So that goes for the district also, for subdivisions and block also. But needless to say, sir, that the state requires more administrative units. There is no doubt about it. There are certain areas where people have to travel for 50 kilometers, 70 kilometers to get to a block. It is not fair. So therefore, we need to take decisions, but it has to be done keeping in mind financials, keeping in mind logistics, and the overall administrative convenience for the people at large. So apart from that, the other micro points, as I said, I've taken notes, sir, and accordingly, sir, will examine all those points. And with these few words, sir, I once again thank you, and I give this budget for approval for the assemblies and the members in the House. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'd like to thank the Leader of the House, the Chief Minister, for a very elaborate reply. In fact, giving an insight to the whole plan, the vision, and that is exactly what is expected of a government. We always must have that whole initiative to have a multiplier effect, amplification of what we initiate now. And it is a continuous process. We can see it from the budget speech and his reply as well. We wish the government of the day all the best, that we carry on all these initiatives in a manner that enable our people to realize their dreams and aspirations. Only 2 points. One is in respect of the EAP. Now, you see, earlier it was 10:90, that human capital development funded by ADB, 90:10. So also the road project under Northeast road infrastructure, that Garavada to Dalu road project, 90:10. 2014 onwards, Government of India tried to make it 60:40. We took up with the Government of India, and ultimately it was rationalized, subsequently revised to 25:75, 20:80, depending on the institutions which are funding them. So I would suggest that the state government continuously take up with Government of India to restore it back to 90:10, together with the other states of the Northeast. We have been trying it. I think we can still try, because we have constraints. We have limitation of resources. So this is one part. And another thing is that, see, the phase 1, phase 2, now we are in phase 3 of the World Bank funded PMGSY. The phase 1, because of the reasons I have cited during my submission, in most of the blocks, including your West Khasils and Southwest Khasils, many of the projects could not be completed because of the reasons cited, the law and order issue. So the contractors could not complete, result in delay, result in your time overrun, cost overrun. So unless appropriate measure is taken, these projects will not be completed. So this is one submission. I think the government should take cognizance of this, and CM should, at his level, I would like to suggest that review this case and find out a way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So just to reply to that, so the EAPs normally work like this, sir. So there's, out of the 100%, 20% is always an amount that is on the state government. Out of the 80% that is left, it's 90-10 again. So the 80 that's left is again a grant, but from that it's a 90-10 grant, where 90% is then paid by Government of India and 10% comes to us. So technically speaking, it's a
30-70.
Yes, sir. So it comes up with 27%, sir, 27%. So that's the standard now being followed in most studying. So regarding PMGSY, sir, yes, the Honorable LO is correct that because of a number of challenges, there was a lot of delay in the first implementation. We had a lot of difficulty with central government also to justify. But we are on the job, sir, and in fact, the VETID mentioned that the estimates that had to be revised because the money was not enough. It was an old estimate. So we have decided that the state government from the state budget will fund the additional revised estimate for those old schemes that the Government of India was not agreeing to fund anymore.
I thank
Make it
the
short, please.
yes, sir. Honorable Chief Minister for the extensive reply, sir, covering most of the points of our concerns. Sir, the climbing liabilities is one of the major concerns, sir, especially as we had spoken the other day on the MGNRGA, 348 crore, and also the liabilities in various departments due to the contractors. We have seen in the previous quarters, contractors with pending bills of 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, getting paid with 5,000, and that is so uniformly across the board, sir. So this money that is due to the people and which can be infused into the economy and bring back the growth that we're looking at, this is very important, sir. So I would request the Honorable CM to kindly review all the departments where the dues are, especially to all the stakeholders, so that this borrowing that is happening, all the money that is going to come to the state, at least we will clear the liabilities and ensure that people are out of their debts, the liabilities that people are holding now, unpaid to their employees, unpaid to their suppliers. This is becoming a burden to the state, sir. So I would request the Honorable CM, sir, to kindly look into this and have a review at this level, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, the honorable member has raised a valid point, and what we have done, sir, that again, these are facts, and I don't think they will take it otherwise, but the pending liabilities, sir, have accumulated through the years. And obviously, sir, it's not possible to clear everything in one go. But I can assure the honorable member that not only have we taken note of his point, we will call the meeting and all the other aspects, but we have tried to spend as much as possible. So recently, if you remember, sir, there was I'm forgetting the exact caption, sir, but it's a capital investment fund that the Government of India has given to all the states. It's about 200 crores they gave last year, and this year they have raised it to 300 crores, and next year we'll be getting 600 crores. So this fund is basically a fund that Government of India is giving to all the states, and in the northeast states got 200 crores last year, 300 this year, and Meghalaya will get about 600. This is meant for precisely the projects that you're saying. So the larger projects which where the pending liabilities are there. So the assembly project to a large extent has been covered with that fund. The IT park has been covered to a large extent by that fund. The Nongstoin water supply scheme, the Shillong water supply scheme. So these are major projects, the Ampati water supply scheme. So these will be funded by this. So what we're doing, as I said, we are making sure that every effort is made to search for every possible fund that is there with minimum impact on the state's finances to try to give, things. So last year, sir, when the pre-budget discussion took place, one of my most important suggestions to Government of India was that special capital fund that was given because of COVID of 200 crores last year, which they increased to 300 this year, is a very good scheme, especially for Northeast, because we have challenges, infrastructural payments that need to be made for, especially for older projects. And based on that, sir, of course, not just my suggestion, I'm sure that Honorable Finance Minister must have made her own calculations. So this year, as I said, this means the next financial year, that amount is going to go up from 300 crores to 659 crores. So that's a huge jump, almost 3 times the jump. And these are the kind of funds that will help us. But the points mentioned by the honorable member have been noted, and definitely, sir, we will examine and do our best to ensure that the past dues and say MGNRA's bills also very shortly. I expect that very, very shortly we will be getting the funds from Government of India for the material component, and very shortly we'll be able to clear those bills also.